Well, it would seem that I'm not fast enough to be in the fast lane in the swimming pool. What a cheek, dear. I must tell you, yesterday I was in the swimming pool, quietly minding my own business, doing my usual lengths, which I have now reduced to 40. Now, regular listeners to the show will be aware that I used to do 54 lengths in the swimming pool. I've now had to cut that down to 40, only because of time I can't say the word. Time constrictions. Is that the word? Constrict. That must be it. Oh my God, what's that on the floor? Just a minute. I've just noticed something on the... Oh, it's a bit of... It looks like a piece of a curled up leaf. I thought for a moment it was one of those awful slugs that you get in the garden. Aren't they the most hideous things in the world? Slugs. Oh, I hate them. And do you know what? I found 3 in my garden this morning. 3 of those slugs. I haven't been putting down my slug and snail repellent. That's what... 3 of them they were. Quietly sliding quietly around, going towards my tomato plants, dear, which are cropping heavily, I'm pleased to say. The tomato plants are cropping heavily. Not so lucky with the corn. That just seems to keep growing and there's nothing coming off the end. That may be because I did it in pots. And I have a feeling the corn should have gone straight in the garden. I don't know if anyone knows anything about that, do you? If you do, there is an email address for you to join in. The email address is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. All right, why is my corn not giving me corns? If you see what I mean. And the strawberries as well. Well, I have only harvested, I think, 3 fat, red, juicy strawberries. And there doesn't seem to be any more. What's going on there? Although the strawberry plant I had was throwing off suckers or runners, whatever you want to call them. And with those, I have now got another 6 small strawberry plants. Is that why? Is it because I decided to make plants rather than strawberries? Oh, it's all very confusing, dear. We have to live and learn. We need to become gardeners. That's the truth of it. Anyway, back to the story. Hello to you. If you're brand new to the show, you won't know what the hell this is, will you? This is a very random, light-hearted show called United Kingdom Talk. It's 3 times a week, available Tuesdays, Thursdays and Saturdays on YouTube, Current TV, or indeed podcast, or indeed on your own local radio station. Check your schedule for details. The main website for the show you can find at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Anyway, back to the story. So I'm in my local swimming pool. Yesterday this was. At Bracknell Leisure Centre. Quite a nice place. Okay, quite well run. It didn't used to be well run, but it appears to be well run now under the auspices of Big Mark. Very nice, friendly chap with a moustache. Very nice man, okay? Quite well run. But, oh, that's a text message coming in. Oh, I wonder who that is. Let's leave it. I'll do it later on. So, anyway, I'm in there doing my usual lengths. Now, I'm now doing 40 lengths, as I say, instead of 54, because it's all to do with time constrictions. Is that the word? It takes a long time to do 54. It doesn't take so long to do 40, so that's the reason for that. I go in there most days of the week, Monday through to Friday. Now, I usually go in the pool that is kind of in the middle. There's a toddler's pool. There's a pool in the middle. I think that's called a training pool, and there's the main pool. Now, I usually go in the training pool, and I just get down the side, and I go up and down at the pace I like to go. I don't go mad. I want to point out, I'm not one of those people who goes up and down splashing everyone and not caring about other people. I'm not one of those. If there's someone in front of me, I will either slow down or overtake them gently. Right? There's room in the pool for everyone. And when it's busy, you have to respect other people's use of the pool. Yes? Right. Now, at the moment, the children are on holiday from school. So the training pool is extremely busy. You couldn't do a length, okay? You just couldn't do it. There's so many people in there. So I now go in the main pool. That is cut up into 3 sections. Like they've got 3 big lanes in there, not narrow lanes. They've got 3 big lanes in the main swimming pool. They've got a slow lane, a middle lane, and a fast lane. Okay? The slow lane, no, I'm too fast for that. The middle lane, I appear to be too fast for that. So at the moment, I'm going in the fast lane. Now, usually I go in the fast lane, not much of a problem. There's usually someone in there, unfortunately, who's going up and down like the clappers, splashing everyone. And if you get in the way, it's a nightmare. You know, you get the look. How dare you get in the way of my swimming pool? It's a bit like that in there. But usually you can cope with it. However, yesterday, as usual, you know, I'm in the side. There's about 5 of us in the fast lane, which is actually quite busy. Okay, 5 people in the fast lane is quite a lot. But nevertheless, the 4 of us are going around at roughly the same speed, so not a problem. But there's one bloke, as always, right? There's one bloke that's going up and down like the clappers. He kept passing me along with everyone else and, you know, all this business. And when he gets to the end, right, if he's only just past you, he gets to the end and cuts the corner. So blocking off as, you know, kind of cutting you up, so to speak. Now, you wouldn't like that on the road, would you? You really wouldn't like that on the road when someone cuts you up like that. Well, it's just as bad in the pool. You don't like it, but I thought, oh, get on with it, you know. Didn't say anything. As I'm doing my my circuit, my 40 lengths, and you have to go around in the circle when it's busy. You can't go up and down. They tell you to go around in the circle, which is what we all do. And I observed this bloke, and he just kept splashing everyone and overtaking. And when he overtook, he would be very close to you. You know, you could almost feel the wind coming off his hand as it slapped down into the water and splashed once again. I noticed another man join us in the fast lane from the middle lane. Okay? And when he went past him, that man was splashed probably more than I was splashed. And he didn't like it. He looked at this bloke, you know, gave him a filthy look. And I looked at the bloke who he'd just splashed, and I said, I know exactly what you mean, mate. He's been doing this for half an hour now. Anyway, so it carried on. We didn't say anything. And I got through about length 36 out of my 40. No, 34 out of my 40. I remember it. And the bloke doing the fast lengths was now standing at the top. As I got there, he said, can I just say something? So I said, yeah, what? He said, well, this is supposed to be the fast lane. I said, yeah. He said, well, it's for the fast swimmers. And I said, and I knew exactly what he was saying. And quick as a flash, I said to him, I think you'll be impressed with this, boys and girls. You'll love this. Quick as a flash, I said to him, well, it depends what you mean by fast. He said, what do you mean? I said, well, by fast, do you mean faster than the people in the middle lane? Or do you mean so fast that you go up and down, splash as many people as possible, and don't care who's in the way? Do you like that, lovey? Do you like my answer? So he mumbled something then. I didn't quite hear what he was saying. He mumbled something. I can't remember. What was it he said now then? Oh, yes. He said, well, it's getting very annoying. And I says to him, if you carry on, I'll complain. And I swam off, and he mumbled. He said, as I went off, he said, yeah, you do that. So I just carried on, and I completed my other 6 lengths. And while the 6, and the other thing he says, I've lapped you twice. Yes. I said, you've lapped everyone twice. Which he had done. Very fast swimmer. right? So then I completed my other 6 lengths while he was standing at the end because he'd been going so far. Then he had to have a rest, you see. This is the thing with those fast swimmers. They may be fast, but they can't go on for very long. Do you remember the old saying, I bet you remember, years ago, when your mum or someone said to you, the snail always wins. And it's true, I think. For the next 6 lengths, I did my 6 lengths, and then I'd finished, and I got out, and I walked casually over to my town, because I'm never like that. And I'm not slow. I do 40 lengths in about half an hour. It's not bad, is it? It's all right. And you wonder, you see, there always seems to be one of them in there. There's always one in there who's splashing everyone and bumping into them and like, I call it aggressive swimming, and it's nasty. It's not clever. And I sometimes wonder if these people who are going up there at the speed of light, and they know people are looking at them, but they probably think people are looking at them thinking, oh, how wonderful you are as a swimmer. Actually, no. We're all looking at you thinking what you are. You should respect people and respect the space and share the pool. It's a public swimming pool, for Christ's sake. It's not some private thing where you're training for the Olympics. And sometimes I wonder, you know, have these people tried to train for the Olympics and actually they're not good enough? So they then come down to the public pools where, admittedly, they're faster and better than everyone else in the pool. And that's why they do it, because they like being looked at. Is that the reason? Bracknell Leisure Centre, the swimming pool. Does anyone else go there and is listening to this show at the moment? Do let us know your experiences. It's Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. And I know it's not me, because whenever you get one of these people in the pool, other people around look at you and you look at them and you just toss your eyes to the heaven, you know, and think, oh, for God's sake, well, you know, we've got another one in here. So that's the rude man in the pool. I think I said my piece, though. Didn't need to go any further with that. You know, didn't need to I don't like to complain. I really do. I mean, I know most of the boys around the pool who seem to get younger. I mean, they're practically children. Have you noticed that? You know, when you go swimming, and there's girls as well there, when you go swimming, the lifeguards around the swimming pool seem to look younger and younger every time I go. What's all that about? I don't know. Now, listen, I may have to disappear for a while because I'm still waiting for the British Heart Foundation to collect that bed. They're supposed to be coming today. And I've kind of been waiting now for all morning for them to come, and they haven't come yet. I was going to wait for them to come and then come up and record the show, but they haven't got here yet, unfortunately, so we're still waiting for that. I might have to suddenly disappear, okay, for a couple of minutes and assist them in the removal of the bed. I shall take my sound recording equipment with me, though, and you'll be able to hear what's going on. You'll probably be wondering why I've got a microphone attached to me and all that. You may have noticed whenever I go downstairs to answer the door halfway through a show, my voice always becomes more butch. Hello, mate, how's it going? Yeah, can you help me? You know, it does become more butch, doesn't it? All right? Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk is my email address. We've got part 3 of our story, The Elves of Iceland. That's coming up in the show as well today. Going to say hi to Chris Anderson, who joins me on Facebook. Hello, Chris. It's been a long time, my friend. He kind of disappeared for a while. He's in the US of A with his lovely wife, and I haven't heard from them for a while. So Chris Anderson joining me on Facebook. My Facebook name, incidentally, if you want to join us on there, is Chris Reardon UK. You get all the updates. Whenever there's a show, you'll get a little email and all that business. Sometimes it becomes a little bit too much, I think, because whenever I do something, what would be the word? do something to do with entertainment, I suppose, I then change the status on Facebook so you get an update. But you can opt out of those. I'm not quite sure how you do it, but I believe you can opt out of those. So my my Facebook name and my Twitter, I've got a Twitter thing as well, but I don't use it very much. Facebook and Twitter, they're both the same. Chris Reardon UK, ChrisReardon UK. They're my names, all right? So hopefully the British Heart Foundation will come soon and take that bed away because it's taking up space. I need the space. We need the space, don't we? Had a very nice day on... Oh, by the way, there's no emails today. OK, we didn't get any emails today, which is... That's a first for a long time. No emails to read out, OK? Dinner at Wayne's this week. Oh, yes, that was very nice. Well, I say dinner at Wayne's. Now, you know Wayne the butler. I think we're going to have to change that now. It can't be Wayne the butler anymore because he doesn't do that job. He's no longer a butler. He looks after this really posh place in the City of London. What's it called? Oh, I can't remember. Can't remember the name of the place anyway. But from his window, a stone's throw away is St. Paul's Cathedral. How fantastic is that? He can see that from his window. Huh? How many of you got a view like that? Unbelievable. He's got a lovely place. So I don't know what should we call Wayne? Let's call him Posh Wayne. My friend Posh Wayne. That's it. Posh Wayne. That'll be the one. Anyway, I had met up with Posh Wayne this week as well. I say for dinner. Now, usually, Wayne cooks a lovely dinner. And he does make me laugh. He sits there. If I ring him up and they say, what have you had today? What have you had to eat? And I might say cheese or something like that. And they say, oh, cheese, I can feel my arteries harden as you speak. He goes on like that. He's full of it. Full of it. But when you go round to his house for dinner, everything is butter and cheese. He makes the most lovely lasagna and it's covered in cheese. And then he'd bring out some pudding, some like apple thing or something like that. And he'll go on about how much butter is used to make it. You know, it's kind of one rule for you and one rule but when you go round there, he breaks all the rules. I don't get that. Anyway, we had a nice meal. Instead of him cooking, because he's always cooking, I suggested that we go out for pizza or get a pizza in. So there's a Domino's pizza just round the corner. Now, this would be... What area would that... Well, it's right in the city, EC1. I can't think of the name of the road it's on. But it's very, very near St. Paul's Cathedral, the Domino's there. Well, we decided to ring up and have it delivered. I'm not joking. That pizza, from when he put the phone down, that pizza was with us in 15 minutes. Good, isn't it? 15 minutes that pizza was there. Of course, I'm afraid, I have to say to you, I was a bit piggy. No, I didn't have a small or a medium. I decided to have a large pizza. Not only did I have a large, I had it with double cheese and peppers. Very tasty. But the good news is, on Tuesdays, which is when I went to visit him, it was 2 for 1. Yes. So we had 2. He had a large pizza as well. We had 2 for 1. So I think that cost us... but I did have extra toppings. So I think it cost us £15 altogether. But that's for 2 great big pizzas. So I think that was very good value for money. Very good. £7 each. Oh, you can't go wrong with that. Come on, 2 for 1. Eh? Very, very good indeed. So these 2 pizzas arrived. Oh, and we had cookies and cream ice cream, which was rather nice. So these pizzas arrived, complete with the ice cream, and Wayne put them down. And I'm waiting for him to hand them over to me. Oh, no. Wayne can't give you a pizza in a box. No. Wayne is posh. Posh Wayne. Right? He has to have the table laid out. There's candles on the table. And he's got these boxes. And I've kind of got my hand out ready to accept the box. I'll just go and put these on some plates. They've been warmed in the oven. Yeah, it's all done properly when you go and see Wayne. He never ever cuts corners, apart from the fact that we went out for the pizza, but that was my idea. It's not fair that he should be, cooking all the time. So that's why I said I'd get the pizzas this time. So then he brought the pizzas out on the plate, and they were hanging over the plate by about 3 inches all around, And my one was from it. So he put the plate down with the pizza, and he put his plate down, and he went back into the kitchen. I thought, I can't wait, dear. I've picked up a piece of pizza from my section, and there was so much cheese on it, it just fell off onto the plate. Oh, we like a Domino's pizza. They're my favourite. My favourites used to be Pizza Hut, but they're Domino's now. And I'm very, very impressed with the time it took to get to it. It's 15 minutes. It's the best. That's the fastest pizza we've ever had. So we're sitting there munching away, and he got this bottle of water out, flavoured with elderberries. So I thought, oh, I don't know about this. I'll try that. Bottle of water. Oh, no, he won't drink water from the tap, will he? No. Won't drink water from the tap. So he's got this glass, lovely, lovely bottle it was. Bottle of slightly fizzy elderberry water. So we're eating it. So I had a glass of that, and I thought it was a bit too sweet for me. I like water to be just water, tasteless almost. Or maybe a bit of lemon. I wasn't keen on the taste, but I was ever so thirsty. So I shut my mouth and carried on drinking it. It was all right. He made us a cup of tea. Now, when I go to people's houses, I usually take my own tea bags. The reason for that being, I'm supposed to only have 2 normal cups of tea, 2 or 3. No, was it 3 normal cups of tea a day? No more than that. Although I only have 2, and the rest has to be decaffeinated. Because it was giving me a little bit of a heart flutter. It's all sorted. Don't worry, it's all sorted now. The heart flutter. Ages ago that was sorted. All right, and it was down to the caffeine in the tea. Well, it must have been anyway, because it hasn't come back again. Right? So we're sitting there eating that. I drank the elderberry thing. And by the time we finished the pizza, oh my God, I was stuffed. He sat there at the beginning before we started. And I said, don't throw the boxes away. I'll probably take a few slices of this home for tomorrow. He said, oh, I'm very hungry. I'll probably finish mine. And it actually turns out that I finished mine and he didn't finish his. I mean, it says it all, doesn't it, really? I'm just a fat person. Eh? So he had the pizza, and we're sitting I'm never very comfortable at a dinner table. I prefer to sit in a settee with it on my lap. Do you? You go around people's houses and They go to so much effort laying out a table, and it looks so beautiful. But I'm just so blooming uncomfortable sitting at a table. I like to sit there and have it on my lap. I mean, that must be the Captain Caveman. Must be the caveman in me, do you think? Because they used to just sit on the stone floor and eat it with their fingers, didn't they? Well, I'm a bit the same, I'm afraid, except I'm on a settee. That's why I've got a leather settee downstairs. Because when you get tomato sauce and that stuck on it, you just wipe it off. So much easier, dear. So then I sat, and he asked me to have a look at his computer, because he was having a few problems with his computer, which I've sorted out now. He kept getting this error message saying that his hard drive was almost full. And he'd just purchased an external hard drive for his computer. So I had a look, and sure enough, it was full up with music, mainly music and videos it was full up with. So what I did is I transferred all the music and videos onto, first of all, the second hard drive on his computer, which hardly had anything on it at all. He's got 2 hard drives in there. And then I also copied them all onto his external hard drive as well, and reconfigured his iTunes so that it knew where the music was. So did all that for him, and he was very pleased. And that was it, really. Then the ice cream. He said, oh, shall we have our ice cream? I said, oh, I don't think I can eat any more ice cream. He said, oh, go on. I said, all right then. So he got this dish, and we had the Ben & Jerry's cookies and cream ice cream. But I don't know. I mean, after the pizza, it tasted really, really sweet. And it was a bit too much. Not too much ice cream. It was just too sweet. Funny, isn't it, really? So we then had that, and then we went for a walk. And we left his flat round about 11:15, and we walked over Southwark Bridge, then a little bit along the other side of the river, and then back over the wobbly Millennium Bridge, which doesn't wobble anymore. And if you come to London, what you've got to do is walk over the Millennium Bridge to South London, okay, and then turn around and look, and you will see the best view ever of St Paul's Cathedral. All right? If you come to London, you want a really good view of St Paul's Cathedral, go on the Millennium Bridge, which is a walkway. There's no cars or trains or anything on it, just a walking bridge. Walk over the bridge and then turn round when you're on the south side and look at St Paul's Cathedral, and it's just magnificent. It really is. It makes you wonder how they built all these things years ago without cranes and things like that, doesn't it? How did they do these things? Huh? So we had that. We carried on walking for a bit, went back to his flat, and that was it really. And a very nice day was had by all, or very nice night was had by both of us. He was telling me, unfortunately, he's got a lot of building work going on around him at the moment, or next to him, and they've replaced his windows in his flat, which his flat is actually within the place that he works. He's on the top floor. I mean, to live somewhere like that, you just wouldn't be able to afford it. You really wouldn't. It's just fantastic. It would cost you, I don't know, hundreds of pounds a week, if not more, to live in a room in the location that he is. A stone's throw from St Paul's Cathedral, a stone's throw from the River Thames. It's just fantastic where he lives. And he was telling me one of the things he's always wanted to do is live in the centre of London, and now he's doing it. It's great, isn't it? It's really great, and I'm so pleased for him. But they are building a massive place next door, some sort of office block, I think, which is gradually going up, and the noise is unbelievable, and they work till 11 o'clock at night. And they're not supposed to make any noise after 11 o'clock, and on occasions they have done so. So Wayne complains. He picks up the phone and rings the environmental health people, and he says, I know they're doing their job, because 20 minutes later all the noise suddenly stops, and then you get another phone call from them the next day, from the environmental health people, to check that the noise had stopped, and indeed it does. So we know they're doing their job properly. And the other thing is, living around there, of course, there's lots of alarms on buildings and things like that. And because where he lives, he actually lives in a listed building, so they can't put triple glazing and that sort of thing in. They have to keep the windows the same and all this business. And although they've replaced the windows, they are single glazed, so it doesn't really knock out much of the sound. But I gather in his room they are going to put secondary glazing in, which is glass behind the original windows, which should help a bit. So there we are, a very nice night with Wayne now. And what else have I got to tell you about today? I know what I wanted to tell you. Now, I was listening to Ross Pactel's podcast, which appears to have deteriorated quite far. Now, the podcast I'd been listening to, he has these hot topics. A little bit like the topics we have on these shows. Sometimes I mention something and say, what do you think of that? Email into the show, and indeed you do, with your thoughts on things. But Ross's topics this week were pasta, beans and burgers were one of the meals he had a couple of weeks ago. What other lads' meals do you eat? That was one of his topics, which isn't too bad. That one's okay. But the other topics were, what would it be like if food could talk? Yes, you heard me. What would it be like if food could talk? And he started doing all these different accents of what he thought various foodstuffs would sound like. Like, for example, he did a banana and he did a very heavy Caribbean accent with that one. Hello, and I can't do a Caribbean accent at all. Right? Then he did, I think it was a mandarin. And he said, well, mandarins are from Spain. And then he did a Spanish accent with a mandarin. And I thought, what on earth is this poor boy going on about? Is this what near married life does to you? I say near married life because he lives with his girlfriend, Donna Carter. She's got a website, donnacarter.com. Okay? I'm not sure if that is actually her. And she often speaks on his show. Hello! That's all she ever says. Hello! It's bizarre. I don't think they actually communicate much there. I don't know what got them together. He mentions Donna, says, come and say hello, Donna. Hello! And that's all she ever says. Don't ask me. I don't know what's going on there. Anyway, so he's doing all these accents with the food and that, which I thought was a bit bizarre. I don't know really. Don't know what to say about that. But then one of his other topics was, if he was talking to the boys, right? If you had to, I cannot bring myself to use the word on this family program, but you'll get the general gist of it. He actually used a word that I cannot use on this program, so I'll change it slightly. And he wanted to know, if it was a matter of life and death and you had to go with a woman much older than yourself, would you do it? Of course, this wouldn't affect me at all because I don't go with women. Well, not anymore anyway. Costs too much money. It's just one of those things. I went on the turn. You know that, right? But nevertheless, the topic was, what old lady would you go with if you had to? If it was like a matter of life and death. If you had the choice of living and going with an older lady or dying, would you do it? And he said, yes, I would. He said, but what names would you give? And he was talking about, he would go with Carol McGiffin. I mean, for God's sake, Ross. Dear, dear me. Is that from that dreadful Loose Women? I can't stand that programme, Loose Women. 4 women sitting there cackling to each other for an hour. How on earth does anyone watch that? I mean, the other thing is, of course, on Loose Women, there are no spaceships. If they had a couple of spaceships in it, I might consider watching. And no, I've got nothing against women. Some of my favourite actresses are the lady from Star Trek Voyager. And what's her name? Catherine someone or other. Katie, or is it Katie someone? Katie or Catherine someone? The one in Voyager. I liked 7 of 9 there. I bet you liked 7 of 9 in Voyager, didn't you, Ross? She wore those tight tops. I like Moira Stewart, the BBC newsreader. I'm not anti-women, don't get me wrong there. But to sit there for an hour and watch 4 women cackle, 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 all of them over the hill, with about 25 inches of makeup on their faces each, not for me. That's not to say it's not a good programme. People watch it and they enjoy it, but not me. I don't know how you can sit there watching that, Ross. I really don't. But he would go with Carol McGiffin, apparently, and also someone from EastEnders, although that person wasn't Dot. Ross would do that. He would go with someone older. And he then invited people to write in and say what women they would, go with. I don't mean just a date, you know what I mean? What women would they go with if they had to? So there we are. So what's all that about, lads? Why is it that so many people, younger lads, fancy older women? What's all that? And I see it in the clubs, dear. I see it in the clubs I work at. These older women, usually about my age, okay? Above 35. Should we say above 35? Usually the women above 30. Okay, let's go a bit further. The women above 40, right? Now, I've watched this happen so many times. The young lads, around about 20, 25, are in the club. At the beginning of the night, the older girls don't get a look in. They don't, right? And the lads go up and try and chat up people their own age. But these younger girls, 20 to 25, are... I'm sorry, girls, you're vile. You're vile to these good-looking lads. And they go, would you like a drink or something like that? Or do you want to come and dance? And they sit there and just laugh in their faces. By the end of the night, sort of with there's half an hour to go, if these lads haven't pulled any of the girls their own age, they then move up. The age group moves up. And I have many times seen ladies of over 40 going home with boys half their age. It's shocking, it really is. It really is. So why can't I get someone about 10 years younger than me? I don't get it. I just don't get it. What's all that about? Dear to me. So what's it about, lads? What is the attraction of an older lady? And if you are rude in your emails, I shall still read them out, but I will have to, I'm afraid, curtail them for this family programme. All right? Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk is my email address. So after talking about that and which old women he would go with, or older women he would go with, I thought his show could go as low as it had done. But no. It went further than that. It really went down to not gutter level. It went into the drains, boys and girls. Now, I think I live pretty much at gutter level. But he didn't just go into the drains, he went deep down into the sewers, dear. And then proceeded to pass wind on air. He put the microphone near that fat bum of his and passed wind. And I've never... Oh, that's awful, isn't it? You kind of accept the fact. I mean, I know it's happened to me occasionally where I've kind of, burped, but tried to hide it, like that, a bit like that, while I'm doing the show. Because once you're doing it, you can't just stop. How can you stop? If you're going to, that's just but to pass wind out the other end on your show, Ross, I think you are at sewer level. Sewer level. I never thought it would sink that low. What has happened, Ross? You've taken all pride away from your show. Now, if you want to have a listen to Ross's show and see, you'll see exactly what I mean. It does carry a parental advisory lyrics warning on it, okay? Sometimes he uses words that I wouldn't dream of using. Well, not on this show, anyway. rosspatzout.co.uk is where you can find that. rosspatzout.co.uk. Passing wind on the microphone on your show. And he then proceeded to tell us how much it smelt. Oh, for God's sake. Come on, Ross. Bring the tone up, please. It's very hard. Please bring the tone up. Huh? God. And after that, he then started talking about food, and then he mentioned my name. And he said, Chris Reardon talks a load of crap because he says about how whenever you have baked beans, they must be Heinz. And that's a load of rubbish, he says. I have Branston baked beans, And they're nice as well. No, they must be Heinz baked beans, Ross. I'm sorry, dear. I've tried all the rest. Although I must admit, I do have a few cans of Branston baked beans in the cupboard at the moment. The reason is they were selling those at Sainsbury's for £1 for 3 cans, dear. Bargain! Ding! 3 cans for £1. No, the offer's finished now. You've missed it. 3 cans of Branston baked beans for £1, which I thought was good, so I filled up on those, although they're nearly gone now. Yes, they're okay. There's nothing wrong with Branston beans. I'll eat them. But for me, they don't taste as nice as Heinz. They're certainly thicker, aren't they? The juice, the sauce of the Branston baked beans is thick. Do you know what? My mouth is watering now. I want some Branston baked beans. But they should be. Oh, come on. The Heinz ones are the best in this country. Well, if you're in America, you must. I bet you haven't had Bush's beans, have you? Actually, I meant to look at the internet to see if I could buy Bush beans. Bush beans here in the UK. I wonder if you can actually buy them somewhere in the UK. You must be able to. You usually find people who import certain things. I know, when you see like Japanese food shops or Polish food shops, don't you? You see those. So presumably someone may be importing Bush baked beans somewhere because they're American. I'll have to have a look into that. So there we are. That's Ross's show, which I'm afraid has sunk down to new levels of disgustingness. Terrible, isn't it? All right, boys and girls. I think we're going to now have part 3 of our ongoing story, as written by Robert in Iceland. Here we go. Part 3 of the Elves of Iceland. The gathering fell silent as into the hall walked the magician elf Leo the Wise. His presence had been requested, but Norwegian elves are strange in their ways, and it is rare for them to leave their fields and venture forth. Leo carried with him a message from the Norwegian Lord. Leo said, "I wish to not take up much of your time. I have been instructed to bring the golden staff by our Lord, and this I have done. However, for indeed, yes, the food does look good, and I think I shall stay a while. The golden staff is made from pure Norwegian gold, which is the strongest material of our world. It has the power to open any door. Smarty Pants desired much of this staff and had in mind many such doors he should like to open. He was a naught little beggar, that is for sure." Etzler said, "Welcome, Leo. It's indeed a blessing that you have bestowed upon our house. I should though say that the next time you blow my ruddy door down, then I shall be forced to find a new home for that staff. However, please sit down and take your vitals with us." Swinky Chop said, "We have indeed been honoured. Etzler does not normally give a second chance." Pingley Dell said, "Is this really Leo the Wise? I had heard that he was presenting American talk on some human podcasting thing." Swinky Chop says, "What's podcasting then?" Pingley Dale said, "It's when humans used pewters to talk to one another I think it is, anyway. See, I was talking with old Smarty Pants, and he said the king uses it all of the time. He said that the king likes to look at pictures of corn all of the time on it. Swinky Chop says, corn? Pingley Dell says, strange these humans. I think it is a cereal problem, most likely. Leo says, come on you two. What are you talking about? Swinkly Chops and Pingley Dell say, nothing. Pingley Dell says, we were saying, like the king, like to look at pictures of corn on this pewter thing. Leo could not stop laughing, and for many minutes tears of laughter flowed like a river. Leo said, it's not corn, it's pictures of lawns. He so loves his gardens as I do. Swinky Chop says, I thought you moved to America and had some pewter show called American Talk. Leo says, nay, young elf, not I. You are thinking of Joe. I know what I am doing, son. And he, not even Norwegian. I think he is from Scotland anyway. From, if I remember correctly, the Och I clan. The stories flow thus throughout the night and well into the day, ceasing only when the last elf fell silent upon the floor to sleep the deep and dreamless sleep of the just. Through fields of corn did trouble at least one elf during his sleep. And just as the sun began to set into their lives, came a nightmare. There we are, part 3 of The Elves of Iceland, written by Robert from Iceland. Part 4 in the next programme of United Kingdom Talk. I hope you're enjoying our story. It's something a little bit different, isn't it? Eh? And I know Robert spends a lot of time putting those little bits and pieces together, which is fantastic. Now, talking about stories, 2 things here. You remember said I've bought my second, the follow-up book to the one I've already read, Blood, Sweat and Tea. I've read that one already, okay, by Tom Reynolds. I bought the second one, More Blood, More Sweat and Another Cup of Tea, okay, which I mentioned a while ago. But, right, I haven't actually started reading that because I'm reading something else I'm going to tell you about in a minute. The book is a different size. How annoying is that? 2 different sized books. And it doesn't look right. What's going on there? Dear me, it doesn't look right on the bedside cabinet that I've got this attached to. Most annoying. So please, if you're going to bring out sequels, can you possibly make the book the same size at least? It just doesn't look right. 2 books. Anyway, the reason I haven't started reading that is because I'm reading another book of short stories at the moment, which I'm quite enjoying this one. I mentioned before I did have another book of short stories by an American someone Donald someone, I can't remember his name, and I didn't understand what was going on in the stories at all. Couldn't work out what was going on. Anyway, so I went down to the shop and I bought this one called Poe, and it says 19 New Tales, inspired by Edgar Allan Poe, right? And quite enjoying this one very much. I'm about, well, let's have a look, about a quarter of the way through this one. It's quite a large book, and some fantastic little stories in there. What's the one I just read? The Pickers. The Pickers, and this is about this sort of fairly well-off lady, and she lives in a house surrounded by a gate, and outside of the gates all these kind of poor people and people who haven't got anything. And they're called pickers because they go through bins and things like that. And eventually, this woman she doesn't like to go out of the house. She has to go out to the house for some reason or something. And I can't remember what happens now, but the picker, she befriends one of the pickers who comes into her house because her baby's not well or something like that. And I think either her or the baby dies, and the woman starts picking, taking things off her, firstly bits of jewellery, then clothes, and then invites all her friends in. They start picking her flesh and everything. It's always horrible. It's tales of... what's the summary on this one? 19 new tales of suspense, dark fantasy and horror. So that's quite good. If you like that one, 19 stories in there, and it's called Poe, P-O-E. It's a black book with a picture of a... I think it's raven on the front, and that's quite good as well. Now, where did I buy that from? Now, I bought that from of the bookshop in Bracknell. What's it called? Oh my word, I can't remember. But if you're in Bracknell, anyone who's listening to the show in Bracknell, it's the bookshop next to HMV, and that's where I bought that one from. All right. Do you know, perhaps I should start one of these book clubs that they have. There used to be these two on the television, Richard and Judy. And they had this book club thing, and they used to promote books. I suppose they got paid for it, though. I mean, I'm not being paid for this or anything. I just like to pass on. It might be is it Waterstones bookshop in Bracknell? Where I bought that from, I can't remember now. Oh, it's something like that. Anyway. More news, more food news, incidentally. Just talking about Ross and his lads' meals and things like that. And I was saying to you also that I had ice cream round Wayne's place the other day. I have found something I like at Aldi. Now, you remember, we've got a new supermarket here in Bracknell called Aldi. It's the first time I've ever had one. I haven't been over-impressed with it up to now. I just don't find it friendly. When I used to go, it used to be Waitrose, right? And I used to go in there every single day and buy a few items. Every day, right? And there would always be members of staff, then you got to know them, and they would talk to you. You could have a conversation with them. It was fantastic, right? Aldi is just not like that. You just get the impression that they want you in and out as quickly as possible. And there's a doorman there as well. You know, in his, security outfit and all that, standing by the door. Oh, and it just doesn't feel friendly at all. It's a horrible atmosphere in there. I don't like it. However, I found something I like in there, and that's their luxury vanilla ice cream. I think it was £1.68, which isn't cheap for ice cream. Oh, it is to die for. Really, really nice. So there we are. I've found something I like in Aldi. And it's interesting, actually. I got to thinking. Each supermarket seems to have its own things that you like about it. And I made a list. Aldi, right? Got to be the ice cream. And the cheap fruit and veg offers that they seem to have on now and again. They always seem to have a couple of offers on there each week, right? Always on the fruit and veg. I think this week, I'm sure they were selling 6 tomatoes for 29p, which is damn good. I mean, that's really good. Where you get 6 tomatoes, 29p? You don't, do you? Okay, so there's that. So that's Aldi, right? Sainsbury's, I like for their very wide range in things. And also, Sainsbury's appears to be very well set out. I quite like that about Sainsbury's. Morrison's, these are all supermarkets in the UK. Morrison's always appears to be very clean and smart in there. I don't know why. And the staff are all very nicely dressed, and It just seems to be really clean and smart in Morrison's. Also, Morrison's do a fantastic full English breakfast. They have a little canteen there. This is the Bracknell branch anyway. And the food is really good. And very well priced. Very competitively priced in Morrison's. Waitrose, I quite like that because it's a bit posh. And very, very friendly. Waitrose, you go in there, or they used to when it was here, it was always very, very friendly in there. The staff had time to talk to you. But Lidl's, I've been in 2 Lidl's, and I'm sorry, just a complete and total mess. Yes, they're very cheap, but they're just a mess. Asda, my favourite all of them. And you know what? I don't even know why I like Asda. I don't know. It just seems to be pretty down to earth, although it's very clean. Now, what supermarkets do you like? What is it about a certain brand of supermarket you like? Write into me and let me know on the email, okay? Chris@UnitedKingdomTalk.co.uk. Chris@UnitedKingdomTalk.co.uk. That's it from United Kingdom Talk for today. Do have a couple of emails because we haven't had any emails this week at all, but that's okay. I mean, it's funny, isn't it? You get like loads and you can't cope, and then suddenly nothing. But that's okay. If you don't want to send an email, that's all right. But it would be nice to hear from you, okay? Chris@UnitedKingdomTalk.co.uk. From myself, Chris Reardon, thanks for listening and watching the show today. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye now.